and especially if they've had early neglect, their brains have something called executive dysfunction. And executive dysfunction is a term that includes problems often with auditory memory, and that's things that are spoken to you. It's that short-term memory or long-term memory that's through words. And so it's harder for them to be able to remember much. So there are problems there. It's also harder for them to organize themselves. Time is more difficult for them. Being able to be mindful. What am I supposed to be doing right now? You know, and am I on track? And are my emotions appropriate for the situation? That kind of self-monitoring and mindfulness is something that's very difficult after high stress beginnings. Kids' brains are actually wired up more to be random, quickly reacting, and freed up to respond in the moment. And so one of the reasons parents have to talk so much is kids kind of lose track of priorities. Another thing about this executive dysfunction is that the kids often don't classify things in categories. And so if you say clean up, they don't even know where to start. They don't see, oh, here are the books, here are the papers, here are the toys. They're not putting it in. Or they don't, what we call generalize. They don't take from one situation and learn it and then apply it to the other situation. So I have a handout I'll direct you to for that describes how to work with kids differently. And what we find is if kids develop secure attachments, a lot of times the brain starts to heal itself. And we find that their memory improves, they can begin to categorize, they calm down at night instead of getting more spiked up and revved up at night, you know. But that guide will give you many more specifics. But I use many more visuals with kids. There are some places that I like to look at in terms of how kids keep track of their chores. And it's not mom or dad's voice, but maybe on a tablet. They've got their chore list and they move over when things are done. We use a lot of timers, a lot of prompts with them. But we tilt more towards the visual. And then we get a feedback loop for the kids. Go do such and such, then come see me when you're done. Okay? Because they'll wander off and they're in the weeds. They can't remember what you just said. But I'll give you more specifics for that later. Okay, in a handout.